nothing's cold.
That's okay, I lost my water.
Alright, okay. How about you, mate?
I would love one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fucking hot out there today, huh?
That's why in here feels so good. I asked about it because it's so hot out there. Thank you very much.
That's fine.
Can I get an elbow stand? Hold on, wait. That's not gonna work. The light behind it.
Oh,
Would you be actually able to scooch in closer to it?
Yeah, you come this way.
I'm a little sweaty.
Don't worry about it, I'm equally as sweaty.
I think everyone understands that at festivals,
There's
right?
no choice today.
No, there really is no
I'm
choice.
gonna sweat whether you want it or not.
Exactly. I don't think anybody wants it though.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not.
Actually, on stage, I quite like to be a bit sweaty.
Why?
Maybe not that sweaty, but because you get into the zone a little more.
Oh, it kind of adds to it.
Yeah, unless everything's going wrong, in which case it's even more frustrating because like you're covered in sweat and crap.
True.
Anyway.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Like how it's kind of a disappointment if you go home feeling fine.
Yeah, you should leave it all out on the stage, I think.
That's actually a good insight. Okay, first off, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Gustav, or Gus, and I'm the lead singer in Young Guns.
Let's see. This one's from Hallie Neal. Where did the inspiration come for I Want Out, and where does the video come from?
Okay, so we wrote I Want Out, it's actually about 2 years ago now. We wrote it when we had some downtime between tours. In fact, we were just about to go out on tour with Bullet, my Valentine, so we went out to the States about 2 weeks early. And our label over here in America have a studio in Manhattan, so we went in there and we just had a couple of bits of music. We had the piano riff and we had the progression for the chorus, and we thought, you know, let's just go into a studio somewhere different and have some fun and be creative. And we knew that there was something that we really loved about the song, but we couldn't get a vocal right, and so I spent about 12 days constantly just working on writing the vocal melody. And when I got the melody, we were all really happy with it, recorded it, but didn't have any words, which is often the way we do it. And you know, so we talked about it. What should I be saying at this moment? And I said, well, you know, this is it feels really anthemic and really uplifting, and I just want to sing as loud as I can at the top of my lungs, and so I want something that feels really good to shout out, you know, as loud as you can. And I Want Out just felt appropriate, felt right and good to kind of sing it as loud as I could, and with the melody that we'd written. So after that, it was about like reverse engineering the idea for the song, you know. So it's really just about the idea that life is temporary and finite, and so you should kind of enjoy each moment as much as you can. And if you're not happy with something, then it's up to you to make a change. And with regards to the music video, we just wanted it to be a very non-rock video, not a traditional rock band. We wanted it to be about colour and energy and excitement, as opposed to like a narrative or, you know, like the classic like slow motion walking out kind of shows. So we wanted it to be like a video from the 90s on like MTV or something like that.
I think you turned out with it very, very good, and like you said, you didn't want to do a rock video, and I'm like, this is totally different for a rock band.
Yeah,
that was my immediate thought.
Cool.
I'm sort of the different kind of feel. Name something you listen to that nobody would ever expect.
Well, basically everything we listen to, nobody probably would expect us to listen to. We really don't listen to that much rock music these days.
Really?
Yeah. Simply because we're surrounded by rock music all the time, which is great, which is fine, and we love it and always will, but sometimes, you know, when you're doing one thing for the majority of the day, when you sit down, you don't necessarily want to continue to do that thing. You do something different. So I spend a lot of my time listening to music that I grew up listening to, so a lot of the Police, Roxy music, none of these bands you probably would listen to.
So far, no.
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 Listen to a lot of pop music as well.
Really? Like
a lot of Taylor Swift, a lot of stuff like that, a lot of electronic music. You really like bands like Churches and stuff like that.
That's cool. It's interesting to me when you hear the exact opposite of what anybody does.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up listening to metal, and we still listen to a lot of metal, but it has to be really good for us to be excited by it these days.
That's cool, though. How would you describe your musical career in just one word?
Surprising.
Surprising. No.
Yeah, I don't know why. I joined a band by accident, and I wasn't singing, and our singer quit. So I said I'll sing until we get a singer. And then we released our 4-track EP that we put out ourselves, and we'd just sell it by hand at shows, supporting anyone, whoever, you know, in local venues. and it just evolved and evolved, and now somehow I'm a singer in a band that gets to travel the world and play to audiences in places that I never thought I would even get a chance to see. So it's all been one big surprise, but I'm very content. I love what I do.
Now, how did you accidentally join it?
Because I've always loved music growing up. I grew up in the centre of a city in London, and so none of the friends I had growing up were into rock music or heavy music. They were into like hip hop or dance music or whatever. And I became friends with John through a mutual friend, just an accidental meeting. And they needed a bassist, and I was like, well, I don't play bass, but I do play guitar, so I'll just fill in on bass if you want. And it just kind of snowballed from there. So it was just a chance encounter after chance situation after chance situation.
Well, that's
Here we are.
cool.
Yeah.
That's like not usually what you hear.
No.
Usually I wanted to do this.
Well, I've always wanted to do it, but I never knew anyone that would,
Yeah,
I never had the
would.
opportunity to be able to do it. So.
Yeah, that's cool though. You said something about England. How were the crowds over there different from over here?
They're quite different. In a number of ways. The makeup of the audience tends to be a bit different in that rock music is primarily the audiences you play to for the most part in the UK tend to be younger audiences than they are over here. So you'd be playing to the audience would be mostly made up of kind of teenagers, people in their early 20s. And the great thing about playing over here is that you can play to people that are kids, teenagers, people in their 20s, 30s, 40s and 50s, and even older. Like there's no rhyme or reason. People just like rock music over here. It's accepted as like a more mainstream form of music, and more people like it. So that's one difference. Obviously, stylistically, it's very different at home.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kind of like radio rock, for example, isn't something that really exists in England because we don't have any rock radio.
That would be frustrating.
So we have nationalised radio, and it's all pop, so you're trying to fit in and get somewhere.
Yeah.
Whereas here, you guys have thousands of radio stations that cater exclusively to rock bands.
Yeah.
So I think there's just a much bigger audience waiting out there to play to.
Well, do you prefer? I'm assuming you prefer bigger shows.
No, actually, we enjoy both for different reasons. That sounds like a politician's answer, but it's true.
No, I understand.
I like the small, sweaty club shows because they're kind of chaotic and there's an energy and an atmosphere. Like a little sweaty punk rock show.
Yeah.
It would just be amazing. And then you can go to a great arena show and it feels incredible. And so they offer you different opportunities, I think, as a band. And sometimes we like just being in people's faces and sweaty, and sometimes it's nice being on that grander stage.
Yeah.
Having a bit of wish fulfillment. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
when you play those bigger stages, it always makes me think of the posters I had on my wall when I was a kid.
Which I'm sure is a very cool feeling.
It's a wonderful feeling.
I would imagine it would be, honestly.
It is great.
Let's see. You guys are going to soon be releasing a new album.
Yes.
What track are you most excited to release?
Well, there's a song on the album called Lullaby, and it's like a more down tempo, chilled out kind of song. So it's not like a big rocky number, but I think it's just a very emotive song, and I'm really pleased with the sounds that we managed to get in there, and I think it really conveys a certain emotion. So I think it's really cool. And so that song Lullaby is probably one of my favourites on the record.
That'd be cool. Can't wait to hear it. Is that when again?
June the 9th in the United States.
Very cool. When's it out in the UK?
June the 8th.
The 8th.
So 1 day difference. And
One
I
day
don't
different.
know why.
You never know.
Someone smarter than me made that decision.
Hey, you know what? That means surprise. Somebody else gets it.
Right.
Which is cool. What would your dream concert be? Like, be a part of?
To go to.
To go to or be a part of, either one you want.
Okay. Well, I never got to see Nirvana. I was a little bit too young. I have an older brother, and I got into rock music through stealing his CDs when I was a kid. And he was a super Nirvana fan. He saw them live a bunch and stuff. So I would love to go see them live. I think that'd be amazing. And growing up, Metallica are a huge fan for me. So if I could play on a bill anywhere near Metallica, I think I'd do it.
That would be very cool. Maybe it'll happen at some point. Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. It would be strange though.
It would be very strange, but...
But I'll take it.
Yeah, if you didn't take it, you'd be crazy.
I'd be an idiot.
I didn't want to say that.
I'm allowed to.
You're allowed to say it, I'm not. That's rude to me. Let's see. What would you do if you ever met an alien?
Well, I actually have a real... Aliens are quite a thing for me. I'm terrified.
That's why I asked.
Terrified. I love the idea that there is life out there, but for some reason I find it really scary. It's like it just. I think it would have. It's more the implications it would have for the world. I think it would change so much in the way human beings see themselves in the universe, and I think that would just be a really traumatic experience. I think for the whole planet, and to realign this idea of who we are and our place in the universe. And I'm like the older I get, the more mentally delicate I feel, and so I think I probably just have a complete meltdown. I just freak out.
Well, then later afterward, it might be, hey, I just met an alien.
Yeah, I mean, if they were like nice, happy agents.
As long as they weren't evil, you good, right?
No, yeah, as long as they weren't evil, no, you couldn't do that.
No, I can see why. I think I wouldn't be too okay with an evil one.
Yeah, I grew up watching the X-Files and loads of horror films and stuff, and I think I just scarred myself.
Sounds like you did.
Yeah.
Hopefully if you do be an alien, you're very nice.
I certainly hope so.
And then I also heard you love to write. Do you write anything about music?
Yeah, I tend to. I write my lyrics. Typically, I write them before I hear the music. So I wouldn't. It's not poetry as such, but I write song after song after song that's just words and no music whatsoever. So that's the majority of the thing that I do. I studied English literature at university, so that was a real thing for me. So I'm always writing what I think could become stories one day. It's just kind of little character arcs and basic ideas and novels. But I'm not very disciplined, and so I question whether or not I could actually apply myself enough to write a novel. But it's definitely
Absolutely.
It's definitely a pipe dream, and I love. I enjoy reading journalism, and I like the idea of having something to do with that in some way.
I say if you want to write, just go for it. Sometimes the character tells a story.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's.
And then don't worry if it's disciplined or not. It wanted to tell.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can always edit it later.
It's the same with music. When you've written a great song, sometimes it feels like it's written itself through.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very strange thing.
That makes sense. Well, I only have one more question, which is there anything you want to add, plug, whatever?
We are obviously just beginning this run of shows that we're in at the moment. We're touring with Breaking Benjamin, supporting them.
Very exciting.
And we have a couple of headline shows kind of spread out amongst that tour with some more festival appearances too. So we're here in the States until the end of May. So check out the tour listings on our website, which is weareyoungguns.com.
I'll put it in the description box.
Thank you. And also, of course, we have a record coming out at the beginning of June, which is called Ones and Zeros, and you can pre-order that as well. And we'll be back in the summer too. We have a website which is weareyoungguns.com, and on that website you can find all of the tour information. We're on tour with Breaking Benjamin right now, and there's a bunch of headline shows too. And you can also pre-order our new record, which is called Ones and Zeros, and it's out June 9th.
Okay. And then, since I don't know if we got it, I'll figure it out and cut it out if we did. Why did you name it Ones and Zeros?
We named the album Ones and Zeros because all of the music on the album is about moments in time and interactions between people, and the idea that really your entire life is made up of these moments between people, and it's all about the interaction that we have with each other. And when I came to thinking about the way in which we communicate as human beings, and it just seemed like a really nice kind of binary way of expressing the idea that we are made up of the moments that we communicate to each other. Ones and zeros is obviously a binary code, it's computer language.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was a slightly more interesting modern way of phrasing it other than something else. And also I think it's a little bit of interest to the title because you don't necessarily understand what it means.
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
want to find out. And the other option was a title from one of the other songs on the record, which is Memento Mori, which is Latin for remember that you will die. And although that's a positive thing, because the idea is to enjoy every moment, like I was saying, because you don't know how long it's going to last, that seemed maybe that it could be a little morbid. So I went with
does, but I understand it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, you can get the album, what, June 9th?
June 9th.
June 9th. And thank you very much.
My pleasure.
You can